So the reason I reached out is because I remember you were traveling in a caravan and using that to get between different sites because the work you do is, you're an intermediary director. It looks like you're doing board work and things like that now.
Yes.
I initially came across you in Academy when you founded that back
Yes,
in
I remember.
1998.
I remember you.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing's amazing because I was writing about building business relationships. I built a bunch offline, and then I got invited to all these networks. But to see that evolve over time, it is a global economy. People are all over the world. And lately, my clients have been trying to either do like what I'm doing. I'm actually on a farm. So I'm in a travel trailer. That's my office on a farm with animals. And if I go visit a client, I just lock everything all up and go stay in an efficiency suite or something for a couple months or whatever. Doesn't happen as much since COVID, since everybody freaked out. But the corporate clients are all trying to get people back in the office. And I think there's an argument for we're already working from all around the world. Why don't we just work where people function best? And so that's why I think you sent me a little note or something on LinkedIn and it kind of clicked. I was like, hey, this is a guy who not only works subject matter expert work, executive level work, but has worked mobile or remote to clients. And that's what a lot of my folks are trying to do.
Yes, I mean, I've worked remote for nearly 40 years. So,
Yeah, it's
but
just
I've also
same
worked
here.
for 20 or 30 companies on site as well. So I think it's a case of where you have to go wherever the opportunity is.
Yeah, yeah. So you've done because I've traveled like 3 weeks out of every month, and I might be in San Diego one week and New York the next.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that live where you do 100 flights a year, but I have
Yeah,
to say I don't do 100 flights a year anymore because it just kills you.
yeah. It is a lot different traveling these days. Even the business lounges are.
Airports are
Yeah.
exhausting places.
Yes. Yes.
And the business lounges are buzzing with noise. And
Yeah. Yeah.
the jets have got so much so many screens on them, and then you've got the Wi-Fi on them, and then you've got people on the phone on them.
Yeah. That's a good point. You're distracted the whole way from sometimes even ads showing. Uh,
Oh yeah, I mean we're not giving people any downtime anymore. So
mhm.
it would be a joy now to be bored.
Well, I see being able to work remote, I'm confused by people wondering where their people are working because I'm always been output driven, but I actually have designed my life so I could just go sit in the woods for a couple hours if I wanted to. But I'm older in my career, I've done the remote stuff 20 almost 30 years, but I show up where the work is, kind of like what you said earlier. But were there challenge when you were mobile and you were tell me about that experience. You were taking your whole office and everything with you and your wife was with you as well. What was the catalyst for that?
Well, that was really COVID. We bought the RV during COVID because we thought, at least in the UK, we thought we were never going to have a holiday again.
Okay.
And there was this sense of, planes are over, hotels are over. What are we going to do if we want a break? Oh, well, let's buy an RV. So we bought an RV. We kitted it out with all the G and high-powered batteries and, all the stuff you need to live remote. And then we sort of set off into France and Germany, Italy, Spain, Switzerland. And then people started getting in touch with us who were in those countries to be either clients or suppliers. So we realized there's a mobile benefit to being mobile.
Okay.
That you open up new markets to new clients, new suppliers that you've never considered. And there's we run a lot of lunches in London. There was a lot of opportunity to run lunches around Europe. So we just we toured the whole place and realized you can live your life on the road in an RV. After a few months, you want to be back inside some bricks with a kitchen that's, so I think it's a nice idea, but I do think it's a bit of a fairy tale.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
I think it's I think it's all right if you've got an RV, a decent RV, because it's kind of like a mobile apartment. But I couldn't be one of these people who lived my life on a laptop out of a rucksack on my back and just went from plane to plane. I think you've got to get into you've got to find a decent Airbnb, a decent hotel, a decent office. I do think there's a lot of argument for officers and being in offices because of the coaching and mentoring you get from your bosses.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think a lot of the young people are missing out on that.
Yeah.
Because
I can
when
see
you're a
that.
kid in your 20s, you learn most of your knowledge is observational.
Or the experience tied to the observation,
Yeah,
being around people doing things and
being
getting
around
a
people
chance to give
doing
it a
things,
try.
and pick things up. Just like babies learn from copying their parents. They basically clone their parents and then outperform them. Well, in the same way, when you join an organization in your early 20s after college, you copy what you observe and then you outperform. And you rise up either in that organization or another organization. So I think the thing is, there's not one size fits all. There's a good argument for being in the office, and there's a good argument for being remote, and they both work. And sometimes one is more relevant than another. I don't think there's a master plan, and I think too many of the consultants, they want to find this is the right way. It's just it's just
Package.
a way.
Okay, so when I was at Wells Fargo, they were pushing a big return to the office, which I can say it now because I don't work for them anymore, which was underlying with getting people to quit because every team I was on was remote. The folks in India and the folks in Ireland and the folks in Brazil, no matter if they were all in the office or not, they're still remote to us. So the media, this call to you've got to be in an office, you're kind of saying that maybe some things can be in an office, but it doesn't have to be absolute. Because my observation is that even if they're all in the office, larger organizations are not all in the same building or the same campus.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's different in your Wells Fargo example. If you're wanting to make people quit, that's different because you've got a different incentive. You're forcing people to the office so that they resign.
Yeah.
That's just a reverse incentive. But it's still an incentive to quit.
Yeah. So they're using.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If HR say you've got to take 10% of the payroll away this year to get more efficient. Microsoft have said you've got to return to the office. Goldman Sachs, you've got to return to the office.
JP
And
Morgan.
that's how they get rid of 10%. Sure. I'm done in 15, then I'll take it. No, I'll take it. Honestly.
Wait 1 second. I'm going to go to.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Sainsbury's.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll do. All right, we'll do. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I think when the big organizations like Microsoft, Goldman Sachs, and so on are forcing people back to the office, that's a deliberate policy to get 10% of them to quit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think the sad side of it is I've got friends at Microsoft who've been there for 30, 35, even 40 years, who've been fired, laid off, and didn't even get a note or a thank you from their boss. And when you spent 30 or 40 years at an organization, to not get a handshake, to not get a coffee, to not get a party, I think is very sad. Business is brutal.
Yep.
And it's brutally efficient, and these big companies are too big to be sensitive, and they're too big to have empathy. And you'll know if you've worked with them, but high performance individuals have very little empathy.
Yeah. Well, they hire risk managers to come in and look at the human resources and reputational risk. And once they've decided that they can tolerate that, then they get the public relations folks to start talking about why it's important. And that shapes the thinking. So all these folks that are getting laid off, they're ended up on my newsletters. They're 40 to 60 years old. I think the youngest people on my list are 25, and they're all thinking, I don't want to go to an office. I want the freedom of working remote. And so, um, I think with AI, which I'm having a lot of success with, I don't think they're ever going to go back to an office because there won't be a job there necessarily. So what advice do you have for people that have maybe had the comfort of an office or the comfort of working remote, and now they're dreaming about this flexibility, travel the country, see the sights? I don't have any digital nomads, but that it comes up in conversations. But the reality is that the businesses need certain resources or they can't function. If they can't function, then there are larger impacts.
Yeah, I mean, these are really difficult questions, Justin, because there is no right answer. AI is certainly going to result in lots of people losing their jobs, but at the same time, it's going to result in many new jobs being created.
Yes.
Many of which we don't even know what they are yet. So we've got to deal with that. If AI allows people to work remote better, great. If AI forces people back into the office because the executives want to be around the AI team, I mean, my experience is the executives, the big posh executives, however you label the people at the top, the C-suite, as we like to call it, another nonsense title. Nowadays, they want to be around the AI team. Jamie Dimon, for example, at JP Morgan, he's got 2,000 people in his AI team. He likes being around them because he likes to hear what they say. He's 70 years old, but he likes to hear the prompts, to use the AI phrase. He likes to get excited about what they're thinking about, what they're communicating about. So I think it's, again, I think it's both. Some people like the remote thing. Other people like the office thing. Some people get very lonely at home remotely. Some people can't stand the buzz of the office. I think a lot depends on your mood, your manner, your personality, whether you're OCD, ADHD, Asperger's, whatever is your sort of spectrum profile. Depends whether you like noisy, busy offices with the lights buzzing and the computers buzzing, the phones ringing, or whether you like dead quiet, away from people so you can concentrate. And because humans cover all of the sort of autistic spectrum profiles, it's sometimes the busy will suit and sometimes the quiet will suit. I'm not convinced AI is going to put everyone out of work. I think that's a load of nonsense. I think that's just total and utter nonsense. We heard that with cloud. We've heard that with we heard that with crypto. We heard that with blockchain. We've heard that for 50 years.
Yeah, the offshoring.
Yeah, offshoring. There'll be no work to do in the UK. 50 years I've been told how technology is going to be put out of work. I hardly know anyone who isn't in technology who's working. So it must be 1/5 of the UK economy is people in tech, and the European economy must be 1/5 of the European economy is now tech related jobs.
Yeah.
And it's all AI is to me. I think it's just an upgrade. We're just getting new skills, new tools, the LLMs, the prompts. And arguably, we used to have blogs, then we had tweets, now we've got prompts.
Right.
Blogs are old fashioned, nobody does tweets anymore, now they do prompts. But they're all just expressions of points of view. Yeah. Blog was an expression, tweet was an expression, a prompt is an expression. We're relabeling the same things and calling them different words, but they're the same.
Right. Yeah, I see this. I see that as well. And we teach adaptation because I remember message boards. Actually, I have all my posts that I put on Academy here. And before our call, I kind of reviewed them. And even though that website doesn't exist, my content's still there. And I've recycled it into newsletters over the years. I've recycled it into other things. And it was the knowledge management that had more value than whether I was on one network or another. LinkedIn's eventually going to go away. And these platforms are very often used for the business's purpose. Like LinkedIn is a giant Rolodex for list rental. And it's not something you see in the beginning, but it's ultimately a data enhancement service now, and you can buy access on it. If we had more time, we could talk about how you're building relationships while you're traveling and working in hybrid environments. It is a, see, I need to listen to the fears that folks have and then help them bridge with the newsletter and with the coaching services and the things that I'm doing. So
Yeah, I mean, I would
but
say when you're coaching them or writing up your newsletter, ask them not to fear.
Yeah.
To me, you know, when you get a new car and you get, you smell that leather, or
Yeah.
they've improved the steering wheel, or the audio is better, or the ride is better, and you get a wonderful new car, and the thrill of a new car lasts 2 weeks.
Yeah, it wears off.
It wears off, and you think, oh, it's just like all the other cars I had. To me, AI is like that. The leather smells good. It's just an upgrade. We've got these new tools. We're all upgrading. We've got all these prompts, billions of prompts now being posted. Everyone's wanting to check everyone else's prompts.
They want the latest prompt.
Now you go online, you've got God of Prompts. You've got like a dozen prompt communities, people getting together to talk about prompts. Well,
Right.
that's the same as people getting together to talk about blogs and to talk about tweets and to talk about videos. Now people are getting together to talk about prompts, but it's still the same thing.
Right.
And it's not like people are lining up outside out of work. But I do think your readers, your listeners, your consumers do need to be experts at prompting. I do think they need to be experts at vibe coding. We ran a course on Friday for all our members, and they loved it. And I don't think in an AI world you can plead ignorance with, I don't understand, I don't have the skills, I've never used that.
Right.
I don't think you've got choice on learning these AIs. You've got to learn them. You've got to be competent on them. You've got to be skilled at them. You've got to know how vibe coding works. You've got to know how to give people around you alternatives and choice. And you can't say, I'm not learning it. You've got to learn it. It's almost like learn it or starve. I don't think that's got anything to do with location, whether you're in an office or remote. But I think if you have learnt it and you are skilled at it and you are prepared to go to an office, someone is going to pay you more money for that than if you do it remote. And I do think going into the office is going to command more money than remote, particularly if you're on site and you're AI skilled. You're much more attractive to hire, whether you're a supplier or an employee.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. See, I don't have the situation where I've worked in offices. Like if I didn't have, when I had a client, if they didn't give me like a corner office or my own private space, I'd just say, well, I'm not going to show up. And they'd be okay, well, we'll hire you anyway. Because I've always leveled up on the different technologies and skills. Like I've been using AI for quite a while, but I just treat it like any offshore contractor or anybody I work with. Write user stories if you're coding with AI rather than just randomly talking to it. And I've seen good results with it, but I've not had so a lot of folks come to me, they've had the experience of being in office all the time. And so you're saying that in person, being able to show the skills that maybe are not being talked about is going to give them that significant advantage over, they've got a LinkedIn profile that talks about all the cool things they can do and
absolutely
different people every week.
If you're in an office with AI skills, you're going to get more money, no doubt about it.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because it's like having engineers on tap to talk to. If you're in a Formula One motor race, you can't have engineers who are remote working. They got to be next to that car when it comes in to be fixed. They can't be remote working. And I think AI is that Formula One race. Everyone's racing around the track at hyper speed. And when that car comes in for repair, or that company comes in for repair, it's only the people who are present there who are fixing the tires and fixing the engine. Those are the ones you want to be around. And so you're gonna pay people more for that, no doubt about it, because the competition is so intense. It's going to get more intense. It's going to get faster, and so making decisions quickly is going to become of paramount importance to executives, and therefore they want to be able to say, well, let me talk to Justin, let me talk to Thomas, let me talk to Susan, let me talk to Penny, let me get their opinions, now. No, I don't want to join a Zoom. I don't want to text them on WhatsApp. I don't want to get into their calendar. I want to talk to them now. Let me go and talk to them now. I'm going to go talk to them now. And if Jamie Dimon has got 2,000 AI enthusiasts in his team, you can bet your bottom dollar he's got them all on one floor somewhere or in one building somewhere. And I bet he walks up and down that building saying, you know, give me ideas, give me knowledge, give me angles, give me choice. And he'll be doing that at least one day a week. And anyone who's not in that office that day when he comes by, Jamie, when he comes by, and they're working remotely that day, they're not going to be seen. And I think if you're not seen, you're not going to be compensated.
It's interesting. So the human dynamics are still strong in having your clan or your tribe where they're not
More
instantly
so.
accessible, but accessible.
Yeah, more so. Even more so.
Huh.
More so. Because AI is like Formula One. It's a real-time sport.
Yeah.
It's not a remote sport. It's real time. To me, it's Formula One. You know, what makes those car racing shows fun is those things break down and need engine parts and tires.
Yeah.
And you got to fix them on the fly. That's what makes it fun. Well, AI is like that.
Yeah.
You've got no time. You've got to make fast choices with no time. If you've got to make fast choices with no time, that's like being at war. You want experts on tap who are right there next to you, who you can ask right now. I need to ask you right now, Justin, what do you think about this? Yes, no, no. Okay, we're not doing it. Yes, okay, we are doing it.
Yeah. It sounds like an environment that sets us up for complexity. So the constantly driving for now, even real-time monitoring of IT systems or something doesn't have value if it's not well thought out and designed. Because unless they've got AI that's significantly far advanced in the models that are available to the public, AI seems to have been built on common knowledge, not on specialized knowledge. Like if we
well, so far,
yeah, okay, because there's ways of getting AI to lie to you. Like if your prompt isn't clean, and so yeah, I'm seeing you definitely need to know how it works. Yeah, but if your prompt's not clean, you can get AI to say anything you want it to say, even unintentionally.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, you've got to use it with positive intention. Justin, I've got to get on to another call in a couple of minutes.
Yep. Send me a link of this that you recorded, and if it's okay with you, I'll share it with my lists. But is there anything that you want folks to know about? You said you had a group you're teaching people.
Yes, I'd like them to know about our group in London. It's called Bit 100. I'll put it here in the chat.
Okay.
I've put the link there in the chat, bottom right-hand corner. Can you see that?
Yep, I see it. All right, man.
That's our community of 100. We meet physically for lunch every week.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I really believe in the physical, which is it's not a return to the office, but it's a return to lunch.
Very good. Very good. The relationship. All right. Good chatting with you. Thank you for the call.
Thanks, Justin. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.